All right, we got one more here. We got a viewer recommendation. So thank you, John McDonough. There is a YouTube channel called David Feldman, starring, and this might come as a shock, David Feldman. He's a little more terse than I might normally recommend, but by God, does he have a good point about healthcare. Let's have a listen to what David Feldman said about the U.S. healthcare system. And while I don't agree with what he says about the voters necessarily, I do agree with everything that he says about the people that run the for-profit healthcare system.
Government isn't the problem, it's the solution. Government isn't the problem, it's the solution. In 1980, Ronald Reagan came to Washington declaring, government isn't the solution, it's the problem. Well, we gave it 43 years, and now we see what happens when you shrink government, idolize the rich, and believe the braying wolves repeating the lie that corporations are more efficient, the lie that corporations can do things better and cheaper than government.
Preach, brother. I'll tell you why they can't right now. They need to include profit. The government doesn't need to have a profit. That profit motive means they need, as in the corporations, need to take a chunk out of whatever they produce away from the people that could use that product. And that right there means it will never be more efficient than the government equivalent. I'm not even suggesting that everything be government this or that, but he's just factually correct that if you're talking about efficiency, government will be superior to a private corporation the larger scale you go.
It is a lie. I just went to the DMV in Manhattan. It was as pleasant as the post office, and I'm not being sarcastic. I love going to the post office. I love going to the DMV because it works, and I love to see my government work. And no matter how hard Republicans attempt to strip government of its funding, government still works. That's why I want government-run healthcare. When I was at the DMV last week, I kept thinking, if only these people handled my paperwork and my healthcare. Think of your experience, America. Think of your experience at the post office, the DMV. Think of the Veterans Administration. Compare those experiences to what you have to put up with from Aetna, United Healthcare, Blue Cross, and all those other serial killers. And I mean that. They are serial killers. Who do you want making life and death decisions about your health, about the health of your loved ones? Who do you want? If you think corporations can deliver health care better than the government can, I want you to listen to me. If you think that, you're ignorant. You are ignorant. If you think the current for-profit healthcare system is superior to government-run healthcare, you think that because you can't recognize Canada on a map of Canada. You're stupid. You don't read. Your head is filled with banana pudding. And most importantly, sorry, you're worthless, and so is your opinion.
Okay, so this is where I disagree strongly with Feldman, although I agree with where he ends up regarding what to do, how to structure our healthcare system. You have to understand what an echo chamber people have been in. All of us have been in, as a matter of fact. We have been told by Republicans and Democrats that business is efficient. Many of us for our entire lives. So I don't think it's fair to call people stupid for believing these lies. But the fact is they are lies. And we are starting to wake up to that now. But I do think it's too far to say that the people themselves are stupid. They just need an opportunity to hear the reality, which he is going to provide after he gets over this bit of sass.
And quite frankly, I'm almost at a point where I almost feel you deserve the outcomes that a for-profit healthcare system inflicts upon you.
I'm glad he said almost.
I'm almost there. Almost. I still forgive your ignorance. But trust me, if you think corporations can deliver better healthcare than the government, you are in better healthcare than the government.
Oof.
Still in the Democratic Party's platform, and I'm a Democrat. A public option is what Obama initially wanted with Obamacare, but the health insurance companies wouldn't allow it.
This is such a good point he makes about Obamacare, because what it was pitched as is not what it wound up being, and it's the reason it could have more or less fixed the majority of problems with our healthcare. But the fact that we're truly living in an oligarchy where rich and powerful people get more say in our government than regular folks. In fact, I dare say that we are just about at a point where they are a part of our government because of the amount of influence they've been allowed to have. If you can donate an infinite amount of money to a political campaign, you're the funding arm of the government then. And yeah, they put their foot down and said, no, I don't like that. I don't like that public option. The reason for that being, and I'm not sure if he goes into this, but here it is in one sentence. Corporations couldn't compete with a public option. So having a public option would have meant that private health care was a thing that only the ultra-rich engaged in, because everybody else wouldn't be dumb enough to choose an inferior product. It's that simple.
Even was up for debate. The public option is not free health care. It's government-run health insurance. It's a benefit that would compete with privately run health insurance companies. That's what the public option is. The public option is you could get your insurance from murderers like United Healthcare, who answer to nobody, or you could get your health benefit, your health insurance from the government, which answers to you. If you don't know which is better, you're a moron. Well, why did the health insurance companies kill the public option before Obama even had a chance to take it before the House and Senate? Why? They told him and Pelosi, they said it was unfair. They said, we can't compete with the government. They literally said that. And why couldn't the poor, murderous health insurance companies compete with our nasty government? Because health insurance companies mark up health care at least 25%, at least. I'm being kind.
Yeah, he's being very kind. Case in point, look at insulin. They were selling it for several. I mean, it was manufactured for $10, and they were selling it for $130 a pop. Insane the amount of extortion. And by the way, when he calls them murderous, that I don't have any critique of. That is accurate. People died because they couldn't afford insulin. Yet these manufacturers and the places whose job it was to supply it to people knew people would die if they raised the prices, and they raised them anyway. Not because they couldn't afford to make it if they didn't raise it, because they could. Because they could raise it, because no one stopped them. No one said, we won't let you allow people to die. We didn't say that. We failed to do that as a country. Hurts to hear, but it is true. Medicare for all needs to be on our lips every time we talk to a politician about health care. Every single time. This is not something that should be privatized. Just like we stopped having fire departments be privatized. Just like we stopped having police be privatized. Just like we never even considered privatizing the military. There are some services that we agree that we all need. And once you know that everybody requires a service, it shouldn't be privatized anymore. If it's required, and it's required by all, that's when it's the government's job to do it. This is one such service. Almost every other country in the world that is in our economic weight class. No, I take that back. Every other country in the world, there was just a study that was done on this, that is in our economic weight class, has not just a better healthcare system than we do, a much better healthcare system than we do. The top 11 richest countries in the world were measured. And the reason that list had to be 11 instead of 10 was because the United States was 11th in all categories. Quality of service, cost of service, every category. Efficiency, every single category. Efficiency is where we did the best, by the way. Until you took into account that was only for the people that could pay for the best treatment. Because once you took them out of the equation, which I'll give you a hint, was not most Americans. Once you took them out of the equation, we went right back to being last. It is truly an international embarrassment.
Pigs who should rot in hell. Medicare has practically no markup. Boom. And a public option, a health insurance plan offered by our government, well, it's going to be cheaper because our government doesn't pay $20 million to its CEO, and it doesn't spend billions on stock buybacks. It's going to be cheaper, and it's going to be better, and it's going to be more efficient. That is why Aetna and United Healthcare can't compete with the government. Now, a public option is not government-run healthcare. It's government-run health insurance. Let me ask you, you have parents who are on Medicare. You've tried Medicaid. What would you rather have, government-run health insurance or private, for-profit health insurance? What do you think the end result, the life and death result, is going to be for a government-run health insurance company versus a corporate-run health insurance company? If you think you're going to live better and longer through for-profit private health insurance, you're an idiot.
Jesus, Feldman. Take about 20% off there. Two things. First, if you have any questions on the Medicare for All pitch, that is one I'm intimately familiar with. But yes, what it breaks down to is government health insurance as opposed to government running the hospitals. But why is it functionally the same thing? It's just about price. That's it. You would pay next to nothing. Like for an actual trip to the hospital, to the doctor, whatever, you'd pay next to nothing. because it would already be paid for via taxes. And by the way, if you do it the way progressives want to do it, not even your taxes. Jeff Bezos pays for your health care, as it should be. You should pay for that and a hell of a lot more. Why does it lower the price so much? It's something called single payer healthcare. If there's one person buying it, they have a real strong ability to negotiate the price. Now, in a Medicare for all system, you could, in theory, have other insurance companies out there. And that would be something that maybe rich people buy. Maybe they have unique needs. Maybe they want to insure very specific things. But the vast majority of us, by default, would just be on Medicare if there was Medicare for all. And that would allow the government, through Medicare, to negotiate for realistic prices for treatment. And they would be footing the bill. It is Bernie Sanders' solution, and I think it's a fantastic one. Also, thing number 2. Tomorrow are Friday Peace Talks. That's where we invite folks from all over the political spectrum to come in and offer up their pieces of media that they would like to view. And then we critique it, just like with this. We'll do Tucker Carlson. We'll do Sean Hannity. Doesn't matter. The idea being that we all join the same reality as far as news goes. I tell you this now because please leave it in the comments if you have an idea of what we can do to attract some right-wingers to the stream on Friday. A place I could post that would attract folks. Off the top of my dome, I'm not entirely sure. Possibly, it's just going to be good old-fashioned tagging the YouTube video correctly that'll do it. But if you've got a specific channel in mind that we might be able to, your old pal Jake might be able to pop in and say, hey, come on down to Friday Peace Talks. Let me know. Also, if you've got somebody who's well into the right wing and you'd like them to maybe not be, invite them to Friday Peace Talks. It's guns down. We're not being cruel. We're not heckling. We have rules for politeness that the host follows as much as anybody else. So invite them down. We'd love to have them. Friday Peace Talks, that's at 9 p.m. All right, let's let Mr. Feldman finish here.
I still believe in democracy and that everybody should vote, but people like you make me question that.
Jesus.
I don't know much, but I can assure you, if you think for-profit health care is better than government-run health care, this I am as sure as today is March 8th, 2023. I am absolutely certain that if you believe for-profit health care is better than government health care, you're a moron. You're
Jesus.
a moron. And you should be reminded every day that you are a worthless moron until you finally come around.
David Feldman. Good Lord. All right, hopefully he goes back and goes back against the insurance folks.
Public option. Well, it's still in the Democratic Party platform, and it would be cheaper and more efficient. And the privately run health insurance companies are still spending millions lobbying against it, playing the victim. If only they were. With my hands. If I could be alone with the CEO of United Healthcare. He will say, you can't give the people a public option. That's unfair to United Healthcare. We can't compete. Yeah, the evil government, right? They can't do anything right. That's what these people try to convince us the government can't do anything right except bail these golems out when they go belly up. The government can't do anything right until they.
Oof. There we are. Yeah. I mean, by and large, I agree with the guy. I do think I've become a lot more sympathetic to the voters as I look at the information they're getting. Just like that guy that attacked the FBI with the nail gun and wound up himself eating dirt, unfortunately. Look at the information he consumed. It was all Fox craziness. It was Newsmax. It was stuff telling him that the FBI was a corrupt organization. I believe those news outlets are responsible for murder. Truly. Similarly, I believe that these healthcare companies, these health insurance providers, are responsible for the deaths of Americans, the unnecessary deaths of Americans. And I think we have got to make an effort, certainly, to convert people. But frankly, there's enough of us now voting blue. There's enough of us now who get what's going on with these health insurance companies that I might have to take need out of that last statement. It would be easier if we swayed them to the side of Medicare for all, single payer health care situation. But if we vote in primaries and get genuine lefties in the Democratic Party, and if we come out in force in 2024, we get the House, the Senate, and the presidency, we could make that happen. I am convinced that Joe Biden, in the latter half of his presidency, when he's no longer concerned with winning re-election using the old strategy of pleasing, 25% of Republicans and maybe 35% of Democrats, if he's no longer concerned about that and he's just concerned about legacy, I think he'll have one look at Obamacare and say, that was close, but Joe's going to do it better. Hey, Jack. That was terrible, Joe Biden. But I believe he would genuinely see that as his legacy. Healthcare for all. I think we could certainly make that happen. And if we have a blue enough House and a blue enough Senate, I know for sure he's not going to veto a Medicare for all bill. But it requires voting in primaries. Link in the description.